think that Grafaiai is giving me the finger. Today we're going to look at Grafaiai, a really interesting single prize deck that's definitely not top tier, but it is a lot of fun. If you're interested in the deck list, it's down in the description, so feel free to copy it into Pokémon TCG Live. Let's talk through the list. We're going to start off with our main attacker, Grafaiai. It's a Stage 1 Dark-type Pokémon with 90 HP, which means that it's Level Ball searchable, and we can grab it back with Rescue Carrier. Its first attack, not particularly good. Spit Poison doesn't really do too much for us, but the second attack is where we're going to focus our time. Colourful Graffiti for a single Dark Energy does 40 damage times the amount of energy that you discard from your hand for each different type of energy you discard. It's kind of like Smeargle, right? Different colours means more damage. That means with the amount of basic energy that we have in the format, you can hit around about 280 damage depending on how lucky you get with your energy in hand. But how are we going to get those energy? Well, we do have copies of Eldegoss, which are going to be very handy in this deck. It has the Cotton Lift ability, which will allow us to search our deck for 2 basic energies and put them into our hands. If we're able to get a couple of these in play, then we'll be able to get 4 basic energies per turn, and 4 times 4 is a solid amount of damage. I think it's 16, that rings a bell. Not only can we get our energy back with our Eldegoss, we also have Energy Recycler. That's a very handy card. And I've realised that I'm looking off screen. My computer's over here. This is my OBS. Carry on. Energy Recycler is a very good card, as is the brand new superior Energy Retrieval. This card will allow us to discard 2 cards from our hand and give us access to 4 basic energy from our discard pile. That means every time we play this card, we'll be dealing 160 damage, plus a couple of extras from our Gossifleur, and you never know, we might even be able to get 280 one day. Now, if we do find ourselves in a bit of a tricky spot, we do have a copy of Ho-Oh in this deck. It has the Reviving Flame ability, which means once per turn, or once during your turn, if the Pokemon is in the discard pile, we can put it on our bench with 4 basic energy attached to us, and then our turn ends. On turn 1, if we get this in the discard pile, we might be able to use Rainbow Burn as a nice kind of way to round out a matchup. It's not always going to work. Sometimes we might be able to get it there, but I figured we're playing all the different energy types, we may as well try and get this one in there. As I mentioned, the list is relatively self-explanatory. Let's see if we can get a game with it though, because it's definitely not perfect. It's down in the description if you want to play along, and whilst you're there, you can subscribe, you can like, you can do all that kind of stuff. I'd really appreciate it. Let's jump into some games and see how we go. Time to get started with Grafaiai. Our opponent will be going first here, and it looks like we're playing up against an Arceus deck, Arceus Giratina by the looks of it. So we'll see whether or not we can get ourselves going here. It looks like our opponent has a pretty much perfect start. Double turbo energy onto Arceus, plus a Tina and a Bidoof on the bench. Over here, we're not looking quite so good, but that's okay. We've got a Battle VIP Pass, plus we have a Gossifleur. But what I'm going to do here, I think, I'm just going to assume that our opponent gets set up. I'm going to attach the Water Energy to Shroodle and then retreat into Manaphy. We need to evolve into our Grafaiai if we're willing to attack next turn. So I don't want my Shroodle to get knocked out. Instead, I'll retreat into the Manaphy and just assume that our opponent is able to hit what they need. Looks like they don't have the Arceus or the energy in their hand, so they're going to be playing Iono, and it gives us a chance to draw some extra cards, which is really good for us, really, because now we don't necessarily have to worry about that kind of dead hand. Looks like our opponent actually whiffs the Arceus V-Star there. And decides to go for the Trinity Charge to power up their Giratina on the bench. It's perfectly reasonable, and it actually puts us in a really awkward spot here because now our Manaphy's locked in the active, so it's definitely not ideal. Let's go. I think we're going to be playing this Ultra Ball. Just a matter of what we actually do here. We want to get access to Bibarel. So let's Ultra Ball away the Battle VIP Pass. I think we get rid of one of the basic energy as well. We can always get those back later. We do need the Bibarel to be able to draw some cards. So I think that is perfectly reasonable. I will play down the Shroodle. I will play down the Metal Energy onto the active. And then we might even play the PokéStop as well. We'll draw 4 with Industrious Incisors. I want to see what we get. This research is not very good right here. I'm not super happy to do that. It might even be that we just pass the turn, just because I don't want to remove our Recycler and our Rescue Carrier. Those two cards are very important. This deck needs to recycle cards, and if we lose 2 Raihan, a Recycler, and a Carrier in this turn, sure, we might attack soon, but we won't be doing much more for the rest of the game. So I think we're just going to sit here. Our opponent goes for another Iono, so still missing the Arceus V-Star. Let's see what we get here. We've got Grafaiai, Boss. Eldegoss is pretty good. I think we're looking at an attack here, which is nice. The question's going to be, are we going to be able to attack for enough damage to take a knockout? For 280 damage, we actually need almost all of the energy in our deck to be in our hand. So it might be that we half hit here, which is a bit of a pain. Half hitting into an Arceus is never good, as your opponent might run Sharon's Care. Now, I don't know if this list is playing Sharon's Care or not. I would assume that it is. But you never know. We might get lucky. Looks like a research gets thrown away there. A choice belt onto the active. And then they're probably just going to Trinity Nova, and that is what they do. So it looks like, yeah, this Arceus deck is really going ham. They've got almost everything that they want. Even though they haven't had the Arceus V-Star for a couple of turns, they are now attacking. They have 3 powered Pokemon on their field. So let's just see here. I think we're going to promote our Shroodle. We're going to try and attack this turn. Just a matter of whether we attack for a knockout or not. I don't think a knockout is reasonable, so it might be that we just attach the Dark Energy, and then maybe we just Iono. We don't need this hand per se, so we just shuffle our hand to the bottom of our deck, draw 6, and hope that we get enough cards to deal some significant damage. That is a very interesting situation. What have we got? We've got 3 energy in the discard pile. Let's use our PokéStop here. This might discard good cards for us. And it does, but it also gives us a Battle VIP Pass, which means we can discard 2 of those with our Energy Retrieval, grab 3 energy out of the deck, which is very, very nice. We've got another Grafaiai as well, and with Eldegoss we can Cotton Lift here, grab 2 more basic energies, and then let's see how much damage we'll be dealing. 6 energy in our hand. We can Colourful Graffiti here for 240, so we're 1 short of a knockout on the Arceus. I don't think we want to discard all of these energies, but we definitely want to hit pretty hard. I'm going to discard 5 and send that Arceus to 200 damage. That way, if our opponent doesn't have Sharon's Care, maybe they choose not to retreat, we might be able to just get a Colourful Graffiti knockout this turn with our Eldegoss. Now, our hand is not ideal, but it's okay. We've got a Research, we've got Superior Energy Retrieval, and most importantly, the Darkness Energy in hand. I don't really like the Research because we don't want to discard the Energy Retrieval. We need to discard energies from our hand. Looks like we're going to get judged anyway, so not the end of the world. That's the 3rd Shuffle Draw card our opponent has played in a row. We've got the basic Dark Energy here, so we're again attacking. Hopefully their Arceus doesn't retreat and they just attack, but I'm not particularly... well, I'm not hopeful. Let's put it that way. I don't think that our opponent is going to give us the knockout. Looks like they are just going to retreat into their V-Star, and they're going to just Trinity Nova into our Grafaiai in the active. They'll take another prize and go down to 4 remaining. But it gives us another chance, right? It gives us another chance to potentially find all of those energies to get an attack off. So there's the Trinity Nova. They're going to take themselves a prize, and then we are going to try and draw as many cards as possible. Now, our opponents played Path of the Peak. They're actually doing us a favor there, letting us play our PokéStop. Letting us play our PokéStop from our hand. Let's grab a Gossifleur here with the Level Ball. We just top-decked the Eldegoss, so maybe next turn we'll be able to get a second Gossifleur into an Eldegoss. We'll see what we can do. Let's play PokéStop, then Industrious Incisors, see what we get here. And Ultra Ball's pretty good. Raihan's potentially even better. We've got lots of energy in the discard pile, so what we might do here is we might just grab a copy of Superior Energy Retrieval off of this Raihan. I've got 1 copy of it left, which means our 3rd copy is prized. Definitely not ideal, but we do have some cards that we don't mind discarding. We're going to get rid of this Research, get rid of this Ultra Ball, and then grab ourselves 4 energy out of the discard pile. We then have our Cotton Lift ability. That's going to find us 2 energies. We've got a Psychic and a Dark. If that Psychic energy was a Fighting energy, which I'm only now realizing is actually in the discard pile. We've got a Metal energy in the discard pile. Fighting energy is prized. If that Fighting energy was there, we might have been able to Colourful Graffiti for the knockout here, but I think now we're just looking at a... a 200 hit again. Oh, boy, okay. Well, I mean, we're going to use Colourful Graffiti, right? We have to attack. We can't just sit here. Let's discard. I don't want to get rid of all of these energies. So I think we just hit for 200. And we again whiff by 40 damage. That Fighting energy in the prizes makes life a little tricky when you need to hit exactly 280. If only Fairy energy were legal. If only we could play Fairy energy, that would be great. But that's okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We've hit 200 damage twice, which is incredible, to be brutally honest. And the good thing is, since we're a single prize deck, we can come back, right? It's possible for us to come back in this game if our opponent doesn't play Sharon, which at this stage you've got to assume that they don't, because they've not used it at all. They've had access to their V-Star power, so you've got to assume if they had Sharon's Care, they would have played it. So it looks like we're going to see a retreat into Giratina V-Star now. Another 280 HP Pokemon that we probably won't be able to knock out, but at least now they're going to be forced to Lost Zone energy, so maybe we can find a win condition there through our opponent just running out of resources, potentially. Maybe that's the way that this game goes. They've got 12 cards left in deck. We've got 16, so there's still a chance that we can draw into some stuff. The awkward thing here is that we don't necessarily have an incredible hand. Let's throw down this PokéStop again so that we can draw more cards with Bibarel. A Level Ball and a Raihan. Again, very, very good cards. I think what we've got to do... I think we've got to... I don't know if I've got more Shroodles in the deck. We're going to play the Level Ball. We have one. Okay. So we've got to get the Shroodle here. We've got to get the Shroodle. We can then Raihan to the Shroodle. We can then, what? Grab Grafaiai, maybe? Maybe we just get ourselves, like... Rescue Carrier, potentially. Maybe Energy Recycler could be the way here. I think what we're going to have to do is grab Rescue Carrier and then try and just sack it off of the PokéStop. So we're going to need to find, I think, Energy Recycler off this PokéStop to try and stay in this game. Let's roll the dice. We'll see if we can get it. And we do. We lose the Grafaiai, though, so that's really frustrating. Now we'll need to get those Grafaiais back with Rescue Carrier. Not what I wanted to do. I think I would have preferred to have been able to just get that with the Level Ball. But we can recycle back in these energies here, which means that our Eldegoss will be able to grab them out for us. And we've got 2 attackers, right? We've got 2 Grafaiai in our hand. They can come down and jump onto the Shroodle and hopefully deal ourselves enough damage. Now, there's only 1 basic energy left in the deck, so we are going to need energy retrievals, and we are going to need our Super Rod to be able to play this game here. And to be brutally honest, we're looking at another 200 damage here. We're not going to be able to get a knockout. We got 240. I think this time we can't leave it, right? We can't just keep doing 200 every turn, because eventually we're just going to run out of resources. So I think we might just be a little bit more reserved here. We'll discard 4. That'll be 160 damage. So not necessarily a knockout on the active, but it gives us some flexibility. Maybe next turn we can take a knockout. And to be honest, every turn that they attack with Giratina is a turn that they are not able to attack with another Pokemon. They're going to have to Lost Zone energy. And at some point, one of these Pokemon is not attacking. So that's good news for us. Looks like the judge here. So we're going to lose access to that Grafaiai. We get it straight back with Level Ball, which is great. We also have Boss's Orders in the hand, which could potentially be important. We could Boss's Orders up one of the Arceuses and guarantee a knockout. I'd really like to see the Super Rod, though. That Super Rod would be very, very good, but we're at a point now where we probably don't have enough of a opportunity to use PokéStop. Like, I don't think that PokéStop is going to be able to guarantee us anything here. We've got the Shroodle. We need to play the Super Rod to get some attackers back into the deck, I think. And look at that, we just get it off the top. Sometimes you just get what you want. That's pretty impressive. Okay, so I think if we're going to Super Rod, we should do it after we Cotton Lift. Let's just grab our Grafaiai out. Let's double check. So we've got 3 energy. We could potentially PokéStop. I do like just Energy Recycler and Super Rod, though. Those 2 cards seem like pretty good cards to play right here, right now. So we're going to do that. I'm going to Super Rod. We are going to grab back in, I think, 2 Shroodle and a Grafaiai. It seems reasonable. We have 1 more Superior Energy Retrieval. We know it's in the prizes, though, so we're going to need to find it. We're going to evolve the Grafaiai and the active, and then I'm just going to draw some cards with Bibarel, I think. Oh, with Research, sorry. We'll just draw some cards with Research, and we find the Shroodle. Okay, so now we can start just stacking up with energy, I think, because we're never going to play that Professor's Research in our hand. So let's just Cotton Lift. We'll see how many energies do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm taking a knockout at the moment. Okay, so we're just going to Cotton Lift. We're going to grab out as many energies as we can. There's only 3 left in the deck. So missing the fighting energy has been a real pain for this entire game. We're just going to Cotton Lift all the energies out. That means that we've got 3 Pokemon and 2 Ball Search. 2 of those Pokemon are ones that we need. At this point, we can finally hit 280, but we don't need to now. Let's Colorful Graffiti. 1, 2, 3 is all that we need. 4, 6, 12, 160 goes to 280. So we'll take the knockout on the Giratina. Now, our opponent is in a bit of a bind. They've got 2 Arceuses, but based on the way that they've been playing, they've not really been doing much energy attachment from hand. So I just have to assume that they're running low on resources. There is a double turbo energy, though, so they will be able to attack this turn. And that'll actually take them down to 1 prize remaining. But if they have no basic energies left in their deck, they might be looking for, like, I don't know, a Raihan or something like that. I don't know. Does Arceus Giratina play Raihan? It might not. I don't know. It's kind of tricky. But if they're running low on resources, the 1 energy might not be enough anyway. I'm going to go for the Path to the Peak here. They're going to use Trinity Nova. I don't know here whether we're going to be able to see a win, but we've certainly used Grafaiai's attack. So I think either way, we can use this game. Our opponent goes down to 1 prize. Do they have any energies to attach? They don't. Okay, alright. So we might be able to win. We may be able to win because they do not have basic energy. So, looking good. We've got the Grafaiai. I mean, at this point, extra Shroodles don't matter. I mean, we've got one, but the extra Shroodle just does not matter at this point. We've got Boss's Orders if we need it. Let's Cotton Lift. We'll just double check the cards we have access to. 5 energies in the discard pile, 1 Superior Energy Retrieval still available to us, and with these prizes, it will be a 50-50 shot of drawing into the card we need. And to be brutally honest, actually no, we could get the fighting energy as well. Alright, so Colorful Graffiti here, we only need to discard 2 energy cards. And we have a 1 in 2 chance, or there's 2 cards in our prizes, right, that could win us the game here if we don't get knocked out. And the Superior Energy Retrieval is one of them. Okay, cool. So that means that next turn, if we get a turn, we can Superior Energy Retrieval, grab 4 energy out, boss up the Arceus V-Star, and take the KO. We also would have been able to do that if we found the fighting energy as well. I think the only way we lost the game is if we missed both of them. If the last 2 prizes were exactly Superior Energy Retrieval and fighting energy, we actually would have just lost the game. So definitely not ideal for us, but it doesn't look like we're getting attacked here anyway. So Giratina V using Abyss Seeking with the V-Guard energy, obviously going looking for something here. It doesn't look like our opponent is going to be able to win, and that means we simply do. We have Energy Retrieval in hand. In fact, we might even be able to get a knockout on the active here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think. Just double check. Do we have energies left? I don't think we do. Okay, so we Superior Energy Retrieval, we grab 4. Yeah, I think we just win here, right? We get 24. 240 damage. We just grab 4 energies back. superior energy retrieval here, colourful graffiti, will deal 240 damage, and we finally get a one-hit knockout with Grafaiai. Hey, listen, it was not a perfect game by any stretch. Our opponent had a little bit of a rough time, but you know what? Grafaiai managed to take some pretty solid hits, and single prize Pokemon dealing 200 damage almost every turn, it doesn't happen often. Hopefully you've enjoyed this one. Like I said at the start, the deck list is in the description. Check out the video that's above me here. Otherwise, I will see you all next time for more from the Sableyes. Bye.